and that's just the fact. Um, but that doesn't mean that I'm not grateful for the opportunity and
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
experience, and that I'm not glad I did it. I'm just glad that I didn't. I'm glad that I made it through. Like, I'm glad that I'm okay now. But it's not always, and also to be fair on the record companies, it's not always their fault, but they have a culture of saying, well, we'll push the artist as much as we can, and it's up to your manager to tell us no. Well, managers can be anybody. Anybody. You don't have to be qualified to be a manager. Managers vary wildly in degrees of experience and honesty and integrity and all those things. So really the difference between an artist being successful and healthy and secure and everything else and not is really down to the manager.
I see.
So,
Wow. Yeah.
but managers vary wildly, wildly.
So can people have a good experience, and with them, and other people may
Mm-hmm.
could have very bad experiences because the people weren't professional or this or that or try to take
Yeah.
advantage
Or an
of you
experience.
in experience.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's tough business, man.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
right, let's move on to uh This Girl Is in Love.
Oh, this.
Bacharach and David Songbook. It's an unbelievable album, and I really like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very good album, and I read somewhere that it says that that album is one that you couldn't have made that before. That's where you're referring to your husband, or you were more mature and
Well,
you
you have
have a
to
lot of experience to put that
have,
record, right?
you have to have some experience, and also it was very, very challenging. That was a very challenging album to do vocally.
Yeah,
Um, because Bacharach is very, very difficult, and so I kind of halfway through had to just become a better singer. I had to improve quite dramatically in order to finish it. So in a way, um, it was really, really positive in terms of my growth and development and getting better at singing. So that was a good project to do.
yeah. In the sense, what the rhythm were harder, and you needed to train yourself to sing better or sing differently, or
The
like that.
melody,
The melodies, yeah,
um, and they're deceptively difficult. So they sound really easy. Like, for me to make that record sound as easy breezy as it does was really a challenging, but it was a challenge I welcomed, you know.
yeah. Wow, good for you, man. All right, let's talk about very famous album called Nashville Tears, and obviously are based on the song of Hugh Prestwood. And so a lot of questions there. Where did the album title Nashville Tears came from? You were living you were living here in the United States as well. And where are you? Where you were in? I know you were in the South, but at Georgia, I think, or
Started out in Arkansas,
Arkansas. Yeah,
and then I moved to Georgia.
yeah.
So Nashville Tears was. Hold on a second,
Yeah,
Claudia.
no problem.
I need to smoke a second.
Yeah, no problem. Let me
Yeah,
pause
the
it.
Nashville Tears.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Nashville Tears was a great project for me because after Bacharach, I'd kind of completed my contractual obligations at Warner,
Yeah,
and that whole time had coincided with having a baby. So I had a baby, and I was living in Arkansas, and I moved far away from from England. I had a baby. I was out of contract with Warner, and it was just like I was kind of completely out, of the business at that point. Not intentionally, but it was just that's just the way it landed. And I hadn't been able to write any songs because I was so busy with like adjusting to motherhood and everything.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in an isolated place in a very, obscure part of America. So only two people, there were only two industry people that contacted me during that time. One was Fred Mullen, who was a producer, that said, I want to do a project with you, Rumer. I really want to do it. And he was relentless about it. And I said, well, Fred, I haven't really got anything I haven't got any songs. Yeah, and I'm too busy to write any. And was Cooking Vinyls, independent label in England, said, we really want to do a project with you. And I said, well, I haven't got any songs. And in the end, I was just like, okay, look, I do have an idea for a project, but it doesn't involve writing songs. The idea was, and I said to Fred, the idea would be called Nashville Tears. It's a concept record. And the idea was we'd find songs from out of Nashville that never got cut or didn't get the credit they deserved. So we ended up, the Cooking Vinyl really wanted to work with me. So they said, okay, yep, fine, whatever project you want to do, we'll do it. And then the project ended up being a Hugh Prestwood songbook because Fred sent me a Hugh Prestwood song. And I said, oh my God, I've never heard of this guy. And then he sent me another one and another one. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe I've never heard of this guy. We're going to have to do all Hugh Prestwood songs. And so we decided that's what we were going to do. And that's what happened. And then I got sent all the files from the publisher of all Hugh Prestwood's music. And then that began like 3 or 4 months of just listening to all these beautiful songs. Mm. And then selecting the ones that I wanted to do, and then going into, like I explained, pre-production and all of that, and then going to Nashville to record the sessions, the rhythm section over 2 or 3 days, and then brought the files home to finish them. And it was just such a joy. It was such a joy from start to finish. The songs, the sessions. It was just brilliant fun. So I'm very, very proud of Nashville Tears. It was a lot of work, but it was really, really brilliant and really fun, and one of the biggest joys of my life to record.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was, to tell the truth. And then when I knew you from the time you were doing some video with Daryl Hall and Sarah Smile, that kind of stuff. So when I was doing the interview, I would listen to all your stuff, and I didn't know who he was. And it's because in many ways I kind of avoid country music, and I don't like the South United States for other reasons. I could tell you if you want. But this album is not about country music in many ways.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, it's not country music, and the guy is very good. And the interpretation, I have not heard the original stuff by Hugh, but the way you cover the song are very, very beautiful. I mean, obviously you are a very talented musician as a singer, but the guy was a unbelievable writer to put something together. So
and he was. There's something mystical about his writing, and what also that I was trying to capture in that record personally was kind of through my selection, if you like, and through my desire to do his work, was to somehow create a record that would be a country record, but it would also be a very almost like a love letter to the America in terms of like the land and what creates this sort of sense of American pride beyond politics and beyond. There is something that connects all Americans, regardless of their politics, and that is their love of the actual land.
Absolutely, yeah.
Physical land. And that's where country music is at its best, when it's expressing that pride and affection for the land. And I felt like the selection that I had chosen, I felt like if I pull back far enough, it was a landscape of it felt like the landscape that I was seeing outside my car window, and the love and pride I'd felt from people about their country, regardless of politics, and also the love that I felt for the land as well, which I got a lot of healing from. All the healing I was talking about from the, having to restore my soul after the music business situation was America. The land, healed me.
Good for you. It was difficult. Stupid question. It was difficult to adjust, coming from London to Georgia and the South, deep South in the United States.
It's hostile. The South is actually, I feel, a little hostile to immigrants, because it's very much centered around, they're very tribal in the South. Yeah. They're very centered around your church and your church community. Either your family and there's many generations of family. If you're lucky enough to have a family that has many generations, so you have your own tribe. But if you don't, then your next best bet is to find your community within your church. But if you don't go to church regularly and you don't find your community in church, you're pretty much out. Like, you're pretty much on the outside of society in the South.
So was it difficult for you to meet friends or people you get along? Not British people,
yeah.
But American.
Yeah, harder to make friends because people generally are more, well, also because everything's just bigger and less immediate. So you're not walking around, you're in your car. So you're generally kind of traveling around intentionally. So you're going somewhere intentional. Whereas like in London, you could unintentionally meet people all the time, and have conversations every day about this and that and nothing. Whereas, having to get in the car is very isolating, and just, there's just less opportunities to meet people. And also, I find Americans a bit more insular in that they're in their world. They've got their world kind of. Well, in the South, I found that they had their people, they've got their family, they've got their cousins, they've got their church, they've got their community, and it's just very tribal. And like I said, if you're not in the church community, like for example, here in England or Europe, if you have a baby, there are like baby groups or mums and baby groups where people who don't know each other can come and meet other mothers and, have a coffee morning or something. There are things that people do where you're not expected to know the other people. But in America, they don't really have things that are organized beyond the churches, like the South. And the church organizes activities, but it's mainly church related.
Right. So if you're not a religious person, or you like a different type of church, or you don't care about church, then you keep on isolating yourself, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to go to church, but my son had a sensory aversion to it.
Yeah.
So he didn't like going, and he found it too loud and too noisy. So I couldn't go to church. But the first thing I wanted to do was find a church community, but I couldn't. I wasn't able to do that. But I did notice that everything is organized within churches and around churches and in church communities.
Yeah. And then eventually, how the record were you able to tour a little bit with the record? No, not really.
There was 2020 when it came out, so
Yeah.
no touring. But we did do the tour eventually in 2022.
So you end up you reach a point in your life, and I don't need to know. You say, well, the sound was great. I make that great album, but I'm a British woman with a husband. I need to go back to my own roots. Kind of. Eventually, you
Yeah.
said,
No, I think it was just like I wanted. I just wanted my son to have a bit more of my culture.
sure.
And also to see my friends and family who I hadn't seen in years.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the right time to come home.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the South. I enjoyed
the
people. I enjoyed everything about it. It was a wonderful experience, but it was just time to come home.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Your son speaks like you with the accent, the British accent.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have like an American accent. And I've been living here in the United States for so many years that this is home for me, right? Although I travel all over the world, but the north part of the United States is very different from the south part of the United States. I mean, you exchange the south a lot of land, in the north less land, more buildings.
Yeah, and everything's
it's different, right? So
from state to state, again, it's so different. And you can't generalize about America because there are, like, even in the red states, there are so many progressives. There are, LGBTQ communities. There are liberal factions. There's all sorts of people doing things in every red state, Each red state is actually kind of 50-50 in terms of their viewpoints. You can't really generalize. And there's so many people that have got different views.
Yeah. And with all the pros and cons and this Republican, Democrat of this is, according to me, that's the best country in the world. Give me a second opportunity in my life, and with the good and the bad, it's the best. I'm very proud to be a U.S. citizen. It has given me the opportunity to go to show, to go to school. I went to school here and make a good living during the day, and it's has been very good to me. I'm very proud to be a U.S. citizen, although I may not agree with all the stuff, but it's a lot of good people, and I respect everybody, where you are, male, female, in between, or this. I have a lot of friends, and try to be respectful with everybody, and I might not agree with certain policy or that, this or that, but this country has been very good to me, so I'm very proud to be here.
And that's what I like about Nashville Tears. I hope that Nashville Tears is something that sort of catches the sort of the essence of America.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or Americana through that portrait. That's what I was trying to do, was, Hugh Prestwood is very conservative. We don't share all the same views, but that was partly why it was so interesting.
Here in the United States, as you know, right, very divided between progressive and conservatives, and the role of religion, and is kind of I suppose difficult to adjust or difficult to understand, but I agree with certain things. I disagree with other stuff. My wife and I see things very differently, and my son is in between, and but it's good to have. Actually, it's very good to have different opinions and have the freedom to express yourself. In some other countries like China or Russia, hey, this is the way it is, and if you don't like it, you go to prison, you go to jail, you disappear or whatever. So it's good. People argue, and there is different point of view, and you're able to express your point of view. And there's internet that people can complain and vote for that person, the person. People, are more religious than others, are more conservative, and more progressive than others. But it's good. It's good to have options. Some countries don't have options. Look at all the mess in Russia and Ukraine and all this stuff. I feel so bad for the stuff. It's crazy world that we live in, man.
Sure is.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. Happy to be alive, man. Recently, you released an album called B-Sides and Rarities, Volume 2. It's a very good album, actually.
Thank you. I do those periodically because people asked me to do them. I think that I did the first one, B-Sides 1, because people were coming to shows with their CDs that they'd made themselves, of like extra tracks. And I thought, I need to do that properly. So I did it properly, and I'll keep doing them as long as I've got extra stuff. I'll happily keep doing them if people like them. Yeah.
You like that people send you stuff, man? This is a very good singer from this country playing that music, and will you do a cover for that? And you collect, I suppose, enough song and to put another.
Well, no, what they
yours, all right, yeah.
What they did was they found they would find tracks that I had done that I compiled them and then made their own CDs, which made me think, I should do that properly, put that together properly with a proper release. Yeah. So what I did, but no, I don't mind anybody sending me anything or talking to me about anything. You know.
You prefer to do covers, or you prefer to do? Of course, you prefer to do your own stuff, or revisit your stuff you did back in the day when you're perhaps.
I like both. Yeah. I mean, I don't sort of believe that it's less authentic to cover. I think it's quite interesting. It uses a different set of skills to cover or to interpret somebody else's work. And also I enjoy other people's work because it gets me out of my own head. And also you learn doing it. You learn something about other songwriters as well. So there are lots of reasons I like doing it. I feel like it's complementary.
Yeah.
I think if there's a spider, I'm just something on the wall. I'm not sure if it's a spider. Oh my God, I hope it's not a spider.
You want to kill it? Or
hold on.
Yep.
Got much time. I'm gonna have to go soon.
Yep, I get you. No, I have only two more questions. So my understanding is that now you're touring with the ladies as part of the Women to Women.
Yeah.
And feel free to elaborate how this is going. And you are playing with Julia, Judy, and Beverly, and
it's going pretty well.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this tour because I thought I could learn a lot from the experience, and also because I have stage anxiety, I thought this would be a good practice for me to get on stage and not feel all the pressure.
Yeah.
Having to carry a whole show. And actually it has been really positive from that perspective. I haven't been as scared, and I'm hoping to sort of trick my body into maybe being less scared in the future. But it's been really well received so far. We've got 3 shows down and 15 more to go. So
good for you.
Really nice.
That is only going to be in as of now in the UK, or is possible to
definitely
expand in Europe?
No, I think that's the last time they want to do it. They want to do it, so this will be the last time they do the woman to woman thing. But I mean, I've got plenty of shows booked next year, and I've got a record that I'm working on. So I've got lots of projects that I'm working on as well. So there'll be more to come from me.
Good for you. Do you plan to a new record, and you coming to the United States to You going to be touring here or just in Europe? Or
That would be really nice. I mean, that again, it's all about budgets.
yeah,
It's how to make it work. Um, Now I definitely would like to do Argentina, Chile, and Mexico.
yeah, absolutely.
So maybe I need a South American promoter or something like that. But yeah, I definitely want to get back in the saddle and do more shows and do more traveling again for sure.
Good for you. All right. It was very nice talking to you, and hopefully I will see you in London next month. And because I'm going to be in Portugal with my son for some event. Music is related.
Oh,
I sent you an email, right? So I'm going during Thanksgiving week. I'm off for work. He's off school, so we'll go to Portugal. Some folks from the band called Dead Can Dance are going to be touring. I don't know if you know Lisa Gerard.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be meeting her and Jewel Maxwell, and then other musicians that have worked with her and have done film scores. It's unbelievable, very good stuff. And then that is, and I think I'm going to have dinner with, I don't know if Brian Eno is going to be there, but his brother is going to be performing. And then after that, I was planning to fly to the UK, and I think you're playing the last show, which is the 26th in Cambridge, the Corn Exchange. Mm-hmm. Very likely I'm going to be there. And then that's like on a Friday, and then Saturday we need to fly back, and then Monday go to work. So, hopefully we can get together, for a picture or a beer or whatever. And I would love to get some autograph stuff from you. So
I'll put you on the guest list. Just let me know how many.
Yeah, all the two of us. So I will email you. And thanks again for your time. You're an unbelievable person. And thank you for opening up and for a stranger.
You haven't heard the last from me because now you've volunteered to help me with my Spanish translations.
That's right. You feel free to send me everything that you.
Oh, I will.
And I send you an email with 4 tracks. I don't know if you haven't. They are kind of. I look at the best, I suppose, 20 Latin American songs ever written from different countries, Latin America, and I send you a sample for. Those are very well known. So it's hard to sing them, but they're well known. So I'm here to help you with pronouncing it or translate it or the other song that you mentioned before. You know where to find me. So. Thank you.
I will definitely be in touch because I've been praying for someone to help me with these translations.
I will. So. I'm happy to help you, and hopefully we'll meet face to face in London in next month.
We will.
Thank you very much. It was very nice talking to you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.